What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building. It's another Saturday, another show, another episode of the Shop Podcast coming live today. You got another lit show. Once again, if it's your first time here, please hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. You guys have been amazing. We got a great show lined up. We are going to have some people trickling. As you can see, Zucker just popped in, and we're going to get to the introductions here in a second. But just want to thank you guys for the amazing push on the channel here. Thank you guys for enjoying the podcast as well. We do the best we can here to give you guys a great show every single Saturday. So today is no exception. We got a great panel lined up. So I'm going to just go ahead and dive straight into the guests. We're going to start with the special guest. So here for his first time, hear ye, Lord Cognito. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother.
Yo, PTK, thanks for the invite, man. This is definitely something I was looking forward to. I saw the topics, I was hyped, and then I saw who was coming through on the panels. I was like, oh, the realm is lit today. I like this. I like the energy. Boy, K Mega's in here too. So listen, man, thank you for the invite. Much appreciated. Let's have some fun. Let's talk these games, man.
Let's get it. Appreciate you showing up too as well. And then Mr. K Mega. Now, if you guys don't know, Mega's been on the show before. It has been a while though. So it's been an honor to know him. He's a great gamer. So go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Mega.
Oh man, appreciate coming back. Also get to get my first work in with somebody from the Iron Lords, you know what I'm saying? So that's really dope. It just, you know what I'm saying, for everybody else that's on the panel, man, it's a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you asking me to come on, man. I wish I was on last week. I'm sorry about that, but man, you know, I got to hold it down and keep my word, man. So I'm here and I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Appreciate it, man. We're going to get into it. So, and we're going to go ahead and get to the usual suspects as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Unassuming over there, Fuzzy Belvedere. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Fuzz.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Fuzzy Belvedere here. Glad to be here with some veterans in the podcast and the industry. Ready to talk some games. Should be a good show today, definitely.
Yeah, we had to drag him out of the cave, everybody. He's been stuck on that Forza, so thank God. Thank God.
We can't blame Fuzzy though.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and dive into the Wonder Boy Zalker. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Zalker87 coming at you. Great to be on again today. It's going to be a great cast. Everything's going to be great. We have awesome topics to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on this week in gaming, and it's great to have knowledgeable people to talk about it.
Let's get it. Let's dive right in. We ain't going to wait no further, guys. So let's right off the top, man. We're going to talk about this XO 2018 event. And now the information was dropped this week, guys. We had always, as fans, talked about an event for a long time. The Xbox should do something besides E3, besides Gamescom, something kind of like a PSX, their own event. So I want to get everybody's feedback here on the panel about what you guys think may be there, how big you guys think the show is actually going to be, anything significant you guys think may come of this. So we're going to go ahead and just start with Lord Cognito, since he's our special guest today. What do you think when you heard that news? What do you think? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised. You know, very surprised. Obviously, Xbox fans have been wanting this for a while. Something, you know, to the equivalent of a PSX, their own show. You know, we have, you know, E3 and stuff like that, and they've kind of developed. They're still trying to find their way and develop inside Xbox. So, you know, they see that. That's the kind of things I expect from inside Xbox. I like, you know, when Phil actually came on. You know, it actually gave the show a little bit more validity. And Curry had him and stuff like that. So it's good to see. I think for me, you know, announcements, something hopefully special will be announced. The rumor obviously is that you know, they're thinking about maybe another studio acquisition. Possibly.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see, man. I mean, maybe we get a little Obsidian, you know, maybe we get something. So that would be really cool, because generally those XOs had that history where there's usually been some type of big Xbox announcement. I believe Rare back in whenever it was.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I think, listen, as much as we complain about an inside Xbox, the format, we can go on and on about the format and length and things they need to improve. I am happy the show exists. You know what I'm saying? So to see an announcement like this and then to see what they're going to set up would be cool. So I would hope, man. I mean, to me, it would be really dope if they had like a studio announcement or something of that level there, and just kind of drop a little megaton and get the base galvanized. That's what they need to do right now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to you, Mega. Go ahead. And I don't know how you're gonna follow that, but you can try.
Hey man, it's just I concur. But I mean, the thing of it with this is, if you follow Xbox's pattern, especially when you listen to anybody from the Xbox staff, they kind of give you these in the window type of these messages. And once Phil Spencer was up there, and he said, as I call him, Killer Phil, he's up there and he's up there and he's saying, hey, you go back to when we made the announcement of Rare, and now we're bringing this show back. And so, which is giving me that kind of indication of like there is going to be some kind of requirement, some kind of studio, maybe even two. Now, there is a rumor that's been going around here. We talked about this on GRG last night, but it was the thing of where Playground Games is not going to be working on Fable. They turned down the Fable situation. They've turned down working on Fable, and they're working on to do their own. And if you've seen these pictures that's been in circulation, this game looks insane, because once we thought that it was Fable, was like, this doesn't even looks like this is going to be a complete.
You got to send me those. I haven't seen them.
I will send them out to you guys. To you, and you can send them out to whoever. But they look insane, and they look like something that might be on the next level of maybe something that's working with like on a Japanese type of level. Now, my boy Bloody Knuckles, he's all anime. He's nothing but anime, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he was breaking stuff down about how this is something that there's been going on, that this game that Xbox has been working with somebody with Bandai, and that Bandai has the rights to this anime game, and it could be something like that. And he broke it down to what it was. I mean, I couldn't tell you all the logistics of what he was saying on that aspect, but it made sense. The point of it is that if Playground Games is not working on Fable, then they have to have another group to do that. And who would be better than Obsidian? You know what I'm saying? Obsidian was been basically begging to be acquired because they don't want to get the door shut down. You also hear about that they're trying to do another remake to Alpha Protocol. What would be better than to have Microsoft help fund them and have their back, and let them have their creativity like everybody else is having right now for who they got. Also, my dream company that I would hope that they would get would be Remedy. I mean, it just would make too much sense, just because of the fact of Quantum Break. That would definitely solidify Quantum Break 2 coming.
I used to feel that way, but I don't feel that way about Remedy anymore. I feel like the relationship between Phil and the studio head there is just like not good. I don't know. I don't know what happened in that along the way, but it just feels like that's kind of a disjointed. They don't feel like it really, the whole going multi-plat thing, it just that whole situation. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
You feel more so because of the whole the fallout of Quantum Break.
Yeah, just how that played out.
To expectation sales wise.
Yeah, and how it played out, and just them announcing thereafter that they were going to be doing multi-plat, and just in this Control game feels like Quantum Break, and it just. Shit's all awkward. Maybe it's just me.
Well, no, I mean, I can understand that. I mean, it's kind of like almost in that same category with Insomniac, because there's this tension, but then yet there's like, hey, we still want to work on another Sunset Overdrive, but in our Xbox corner, they're quiet about it. Don't know. Yeah, so I get that, but it just would make for a good marriage, because you have a company that knows how to make single player games, and that is something that Xbox is being criticized for, is not having those single player experiences. And the fact that, look, that was Don Matrix's baby, right? And maybe that Phil might be a little bit reserved, but then he sees that there is a cult following for that game, and Shannon Loftus has said this many a times that she loves the game. So there's Xbox staff out there that probably want that game to come back. So it just would make sense to work it out and try to bring that game to come back, and just have that studio. Also, just with the fact that it's going to Mexico City, the Fan Fest out in LA was crazy to me, because of course it was my first E3, but just to see that, I think it was maybe 500 people at Fan Fest. We're talking about 10,000 plus people that's going to be a Fan Fest. This is going to be like a soccer event out there. So, so of course, if you're going to have that many people to be at Fan Fest, plus the fact that, and you've seen how E3 was this year, and how they came out and presented it. I mean, they got to come with it. There's no choice to have so many people and then do it in a foreign land and say, hey, here we go. We're about to let loose. So, and of course, finally get to see Crackdown. I'm excited as hell for it.
Yeah, that's another thing too underlying. So we're gonna go ahead and get your opinion, Fuzzy, man. What do you think about the news, the EXO 2018?
Really looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that some of the studios that are announced are like MDHR. Just might as well acquire them. Have that.
That would be cool. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, have Cuphead as one of those iconic characters associated with Xbox now. I mean, we don't really have a Mario or a Sonic, so I mean, we have Master Chief, but something that can appeal across the board, whether it's younger kids or us adults. that would be an easy one for them to I won't say easy one for them to pick up, but it makes the most sense. Moon Studios with Ori, it's done well. Just have that same graphical talent on like a tear-jerking story platformer. There's definitely room for it, whether it's a Game Pass draw in or just something that's like a every couple of years type of deal. I would really like to see them acquire Obsidian just for the fact that they're great at RPGs. And if they're the ones to, take over Fable and let Playground do something different after playing Forza, I think there's nothing that Playground isn't capable of. They have the reins to be able to, turn mud into gold type of deal. But, I'm excited they have this announcement. I know a few people in the community have rumored about it prior, but I was kind of doubtful after they didn't show like the Elite 2 at like Gamescom. I'm like, something must have missed or something if they're not saying some of the things that we were expecting them to do at least at Gamescom type of deal. So I guess this will finally plant all of those things that were kind of rumors in the background, as well as probably some other news. Like, definitely looking forward to seeing hopefully some multiplayer aspect of Crackdown. I know it's pretty much going dark for a while. Doesn't come out until February, but at least give us a taste between now and the holidays, because what better way to have a show just before the holidays to get people interested in pre-ordering stuff. So, and then with all the studios that they've already acquired, might be nice to see if Ninja Theory, at least see like even if it's a CGI trailer. I'm not expecting it, but if they at least announce maybe a title or something like that, I'm golden from that. But just the fact that they're having this, maybe announcing some more studios, it's a very bright future now.
So we seem to be all on the same page about the studio announcement. I think are we all pretty much sure that that's going to happen?
I would like
to. Somebody also said Sumo Digital because of the fact with Crackdown, but I mean,
I've heard that too. I heard that. We gonna let Zalker go. Zalker, so your opinion on the event, brother?
I'm really looking forward to it. I heard before, I've had some people tell me like, hey, don't be surprised if something happens with Microsoft, December, November, kind of like that. And so I was like, all right, I'll pay attention. But to me, I would be excited for it if they announced it, but I'm even more excited that Phil announced it. He came on and he announced it on there. He made a point to announce it, and he made a point to say, we bought Rare during EXO at one point, right? Like, he brought that up.
Yep.
So and Phil's a smart guy, and and he seems like a real genuine nice guy. And he seems like a smart guy to foreshadow things, right? You kind of see ahead. And to me, I feel like we need to see Crackdown 3. If they don't show Crackdown 3 at EXO, we're in trouble. I think that game's in trouble. I think they need to show it, and I think they didn't want to show it too much at E3 because they wanted to bring you a polished ass game. And so they're going to bring that out. We're going to see how it looks, but people keep talking about Obsidian. I think Obsidian, it could happen. I think they'll buy a smaller studio, but one studio that I keep having in my head, and I haven't really said it, I have a feeling that they might try to get 4A games, the people that make Metro, because they're small. They may have about 100 to 150 developers. It's not a huge developing studio. And they've said they wanted mid-tier developer. That's a mid-tier to AAA tier, right in that cusp.
Yeah.
And you never know. They might go for those guys, but I think it is Obsidian. I think they might have a surprise announcement, and I think they might show a surprise game because Phil has said that Ninja Theory was working on something, right? When they finished Hellblade over a year ago. Yeah. And only 20 people from that Hellblade team were working on I'm sorry, only 20 people from that studio were working on Hellblade.
Yeah,
They had
100.
they have 100 and something. They had like 85 other developers working on something else that entire time. And so now they're hiring like crazy, and they might show something for that, or a new not a new IP. I think they'll save that for E3, but they might show some games and kind of reveal some stuff. There's going to be 10,000 people there, like somebody said on the panel, and and they're going to have a 2-hour live event, and Phil's going to be there. I mean, they're gearing up, and the thing that the thing that is the best thing to me is that Sony just canceled their stuff, right? This gives Microsoft a chance to really shine until E3, to be honest. Like go into the next year and then go into E3 with like the top hat on, like just jolly good, man. Jolly good show, folks. Like that's it, right? Like just be proper about it. And it just I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we're going to have a lot to talk about when that comes around.
I hope so. I absolutely hope so, man. Please, Lord, do. So Forte, go ahead.
Go ahead, Forte.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, first, I think this is a really good move. I think this is something that a lot of people have been asking them to do. In the past, it really has come down to them not really having that much going on during the holidays, especially with the way that the games has been launching. People have kind of lost a little bit of the love lost with Halo and stuff like that. So it was really no reason to bring anything on around that now. But with the acquisition of the new studios, that kind of changes everything. The biggest thing is Microsoft has put themselves in a situation where they have to perform during this event. People know what Inside Xbox is, and like granted, the last one they did was really good because it was focused on one thing and it was short. That was the number one thing that I appreciated the most about Inside Xbox this last time. Larry Herb didn't bring out the white gloves. It was like crazy stuff. They just stuck to the focus at hand, and Phil came out, and like you said, I really did like that Phil was the one with this announcement and not one of the extra people that they have running the show. When it comes to what I think they're going to do there, they need to show something for one of these new first-party studios. I don't think you're going to see anything from like any of the ones that are still building at this point, just because they're still hiring and still building. Ninja Theory seems to be the obvious choice because they launched their game almost 2.5 years ago. So they was working on something else already. So that might be the team that does it. I mean, I would even deal with seeing a different trailer from Gears of War, actually seeing some stuff from that, or seeing another snippet of what they're doing with Halo, confirming that it's a open world game, something like that. Something that they can answer a lot of the questions that people got out of E3 and they were still asking can be answered at this show, because that's the stuff that was really left lingering throughout the rest of the year. And outside of that, just being consistent with the messaging going forward. Like, what do you want the platform to be going forward? Do you want to double down on the whole games as a service and really just say that all the games that you bring out are going to be in that mantra, or are we going to get back to single player games actually do matter in the mantra of what the games they're bringing out? So that's going to tell a lot of stories when it comes to everything that they're going to show during this one event. But me personally, I usually don't go into these excited because I don't want to be let down, but Microsoft has put a lot of eggs in the basket with this one. So it's kind of hard not to like say, if they don't do this, because it's a lot riding on the expectations of what this show is, because the shows they've been putting on outside of E3 haven't been really nothing to write home about. And the fact that they're making a big deal about this, and it's during the holidays, and Microsoft doesn't do anything during the holidays, is kind of the reason I think a lot of people are really excited about it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are catching that shit too, as far as the emphasis on the point that they last time they did this, Rare was the acquisition.
Exactly.
I think that's a lot of a lot of the reason why everybody people are really, really excited about it. So I'm just as hyped as everybody else. I share the same sentiments as everybody here on the podcast about the show. I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I don't have the official date and time. Anybody have the day and time on it by hand?
It's November 10th.
November 10th.
Yeah, which is a Saturday, which is excellent.
That's perfect. Yeah,
and it's around, I think, 8:30.
And it's mixer only, or
I think it might. I don't know if it's going to be mixer only. I think it could
be.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I think it'll be accessed through IGN, stuff like that. But,
okay,
I mean,
got it. Yeah.
But it's going to be streamed. It's not going to be like on Spike TV or anything.
Yeah. No. So maybe the Xbox app, the dashboard or whatever. Something like that. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I mean, I'm ready. I think we're all ready for the event, man. So next topic, guys. Thank you for everybody joining us live once again. Just let us know how everybody's doing in the chat, man. It's always live. So not only do I ask these questions, the panel I ask them to you guys too. So let us know how you feel. So next thing, and this is a big one, guys. We've been kind of talking about this for a little while now, but Sony finally allowing crossplay as far as being on their platform. Now we know, and we talked about this a while ago about what they came out and said as the reason why they didn't initially, as far as their, I guess being a superior online experience, quote unquote. So I want to get you guys' opinion on how you guys feel about that. So we're gonna start with you, Mega, on this one, brother. What do you think about them allowing crossplay? And I mean, you think that was just kind of a pressure move, or what's your opinion on that?
It was absolutely a pressure move. I mean, I think from what even some PlayStation fans would admit was that, look, it had to be a big game in order for PlayStation to budge. I mean, Bethesda, they talked a big game, but then they did it with a card game. That's not going to work. When they talked about Fall attention, but then we seen that they failed through and they backtracked, which makes Bethesda look kind of weak on the aspect of it. But Fortnite was that game. Fortnite, if it was like COD or something like that, those games are going to move the needle, and that's something that definitely will for gamers to go over to another platform or console, whatever you want to call it, to go and to play somewhere else, because I think a lot of gamers and definitely the developers want to go this route because they want to preserve their games as long as they can. When games come out, they normally have a life cycle of saying from 3 to 6 months. After that, they're belly up. So it's like, what's the best way to keep games going, especially racing games, fighting games, etc. It's basically, Sony just had to cave into the pressure to what Fortnite was trying to do because they want to do it, and they're just trying it out. It's unfortunate there's just one game, but it's going to take the Sony brethren to get out there and to prove that they want this and go out there and show Sony that.
So I do want to throw something on top of that too, a little bit of a curveball. Shout out to the boy B Money. If you don't know who B Money is, boy on Twitter, hit him up, man. Awesome gamer. But yeah, he actually threw something out there too, and I want to get your opinion on this. Maybe see how legitimate you think this is as well. He thought, and it was a pretty cool idea, that another reason for them actually allowing crossplay is because we did just get the Red Dead Online information, and we know that they have the marketing right to that. So maybe if Red Dead ends up being, we don't know if it's crossplay, but maybe if Red Dead ends up being crossplay, maybe that's part of the reason to spurn them, because that game's, literally probably going to be the biggest, if not the biggest game to come out this year, as far as sales, as far as coverage, as far as longevity. People are going to be playing that all the way through next year probably. So what do you think of that theory, as far as maybe that's another reason why they opened up crossplay at this point as well, because that game's coming out pretty soon?
Yeah, let's just be clear. When it comes to Red Dead, it's like the Thanos of everything. Like it's gonna blow everything away, Jack. It's sales, marketing, everything. I mean, it's just that Rockstar just has that type of leverage. And that is a great point. That could be another game that actually could do it, and that would definitely move the needle. Rockstar has that power, has that clout. Then you put another huge title, which is Fortnite, then Sony has no choice but to cave, because they may have the marketing deals right now for Red Dead, but who's to say Sony wouldn't get those marketing rights and Xbox would get the marketing rights to Grand Theft Auto 6? How big that would be. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Cool. Next to you, Cognito, man. What do you think about the Sony allowing crossplay, man? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, man, I think I'm on board, Meg, with this. This was definitely something I feel like they were definitely pressured into, and to me, it just shows the testament of the power of Fortnite. Like, what this was able to do, because we all know it had to be something big. It had to be something of that scale to even get them to consider it. So when the news dropped, I'm like, whoa, like, okay, like didn't see this coming. But if it was going to happen, it was going to be because of Fortnite. And I think this is just great for gamers. At the end of the day, you know, them restricting it was them trying to maintain a power position which they've had through the generation, and I get that. But at the end of the day, the future is crossplay, in my opinion, and more importantly, the future is cross progression and being able to take your characters on whatever platform and still maintain your progress and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, this is a great move. I'm glad it happened. Definitely public pressure, you know what I'm saying? Because they were getting smeared out here. Like, make no mistake. I mean, Megan knows we out there in E3, and when that news dropped about them not allowing it, and Fortnite, especially more importantly, the account being held hostage. So if you did the Epic account, excuse me, like if you did that and then it was like, whoa, you're lost. So, you know, people that incentivized people to say, okay, well, I'm staying over here with Xbox, Switch, PC, you know, so this way we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And they got raked. Like, it would make no mistake. It was a public relations nightmare. They came off very arrogant. They came off very, you know, greedy. And then they even kind of doubled down on their statement, like, well, you know, we're doing crossplay with, you know, with PC, and we've got the best network, you know, the best community. Yeah. So to see that arrogance, like they were not backing down. So I was like, okay, they really digging in, you know, that kind of deal. So it definitely, at the end of the day, good to see. And the key to me now is, now that this gate's been open, the floodgates, in my opinion, start to open, because you now can't say for the next title that wants to announce it, the next big one, you know, you can't. Exactly. You can't say that now, because this exception has now broken that down. And I think now moving forward, especially for next gen, you know, that's where I see this is going. And I thought it was kind of funny because, you know, during that whole period when they were resisting, it felt like Xbox was tweaking them a little bit. They found the little weakness, like, hey, you guys don't do it. Hey, we do it. You know, and then Sony, you know, Switch and Xbox play together. It was kind of funny, the market twist about it. So ultimately, at the end of the day, man, this is good for gamers. You know, this is good for gamers. It's good for the community. And you know, and I think long term, what I love about it is there's a lot of games that I love that unfortunately, you know, the online player base dies. Look at something like a Titanfall 2, which was kind of like announced at a bad time. Now, if you have the Sony, you know what I'm saying, base, you have the PC base, and everyone's playing together, this extends the lives of games. You know what I mean? So I think this is a good thing, man. And ultimately, like I said, they had to do it. So good to see them do it now, you know, and we don't got to wait to the next gen.
Got it. Zucker, what's up, man? What's on you, man? So what do you think about the news, man? Were you pretty surprised, or was it like you just kind of, you know, holding off, like, yeah, it's going to happen at some point?
Well, I mean, it better have happened, right? I think that the Sony fans should have pressured them a long time ago. And I feel like they were getting pressure from a lot of fronts. And like, yeah, Red Dead might have done it, or Fortnite probably the most. But they needed to do this. I mean, like, what company is just like, nah, I don't want more money. I'm good. Right? Like, what company does that? What company walks away from that type of money? Because it did, you know, I really do believe that Epic walk up to them and said, these are the numbers that you're missing out on because you're not doing crossplay. Look at Microsoft, look at PC, look at mobile. Yours are crashing ever since people found out. Because it wasn't just, you know, people getting mad. It was like Greg Miller. It was PlayStation like fans, like, you know, huge ones that have a very big following, calling them out in front of everybody. So when that happens, you know, they better listen up and they better try to do something. And right now it's only Fortnite. That's what they said. And it's a beta. So we're gonna have to see where it goes. And they said might come back or come to games in the future, other games in the future. But I mean, they're in the beta and they said it's not a flick of the switch. And that makes me think that they didn't have any like setup for this. They didn't think this was gonna be And so they really didn't want to do it. So now that they're doing it, they're scrambling to get it going, and they're going to make this beta to try to make it as best they could.
And you know what the irony about this whole situation is, that as much shit as I give Nintendo's online infrastructure or lack of, they've made this shit happen before Sony did, without even having their own shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, you know, you can't. That takes away your entire excuse, Sony, as far as not being able to do it. Like, I don't understand that from infrastructure standpoint. Like it just at that point you take away that, the only thing left is arrogance. Like you said, that's the only thing left is we don't want to play ball with anybody else. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And that's annoying, right? Like they don't want to do that. But at some point, one of the developers, Fallout, Bethesda said, like, there's no crossplay between Fallout 76 because in February, Sony told them to basically shove it. And they're like, so we built our whole infrastructure on basically keeping it single platform. So now, like, all of a sudden in October, they're telling them, like, hey, we can do it now. They're like, well, or September, they're like, well, man, like the game launches in a month and a half. Do you think we have time to do that? Yeah. Like, I mean, we can't just, and then Sony said it. It's not just a flick of the switch. That's literally what they said when they announced that they're doing it. So yeah, that's what I think about it, man.
Yeah, I think that kind of hits to me, that kind of sets them up. You got to temper your expectations. That's kind of what that is. It's like, well, we're doing this, but just give us a minute. That kind of thing,
like begrudgingly.
Yeah. Like, those folders are coming. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to you, Fuzzy, man. What do you think about the news, man? Were you surprised about that crossplay news?
I'm surprised. I'm happy to hear it, but it's about this flick of the switch. Didn't Epic take it upon themselves to flick the switch back when the game was first coming out? I mean, it was like, oh, I'm playing Xbox players. How did that happen? So it should. I understand the beta thing. It's them trying to just not really necessarily postpone it, but I guess adjust some of the things that they have going on, whether it be sales or packages of like some of the V-Bucks or things along those lines. But I'm happy to see it. I don't really play Fortnite, but it's just one of those things. I'm hoping other games moving forward take this approach as far as adding that feature. Like Red Dead would be an awesome one to have. Big fan of the Division. So when Division 2 comes out next year in March, I'm really hoping they have it because I have a lot of friends that are on PlayStation that will play it, and I really don't feel like having to buy a second copy of the game. So it's good to see. I'm pretty sure, like everybody said, it was kind of like a peer pressure thing from a lot of the devs and from some of their customer base. But it's great that it's happening. I would have never thought that this would be the case until like the next generation, and even then, I thought Sony would probably try to hold, not really hold people hostage, but try to keep everybody in the ecosystem as close as they possibly can for at least the first couple of years. So I completely left field, never expected it. And I'm pretty sure it's caught quite a few other devs and stuff by surprise. Because look at Rocket League. Because wasn't Rocket League the ones that was like, oh, yeah, we ask Sony every day. They just keep telling us no, and we keep asking. So hopefully more devs will open up the cross-play gates, I guess you could say, on their games.
Nice. Forte, it's on you, brother, man. What do you think, man?
All right, so I'm not gonna regurgitate what everybody else said here because it's absolutely true, and there's nothing else really to be said about that. The one thing I will say is Sony, the one thing that all these systems and these platform holders have in common is every generation somebody does something stupid and they lose the lead because they were stupid. Nintendo lost the mind share because they wanted to name their Nintendo system the Nintendo Wii U and not tell people that it was a new system and not an add-on. That's why that system didn't do good. Xbox came out of the gate with the Xbox One saying that you had to have internet connection and all this other crazy stuff, which I was fine with. I wish they would have stuck with the regular vision, but they changed it. But that ultimately screwed them this generation. Sony with the wholesale processor.
I have to say it's more of the price. I'm not.
The price has something to do with the price telling you had to go
came out of a
get a second job.
Yeah. We just
go get a second job.
Yeah, but no, I think also the part for the gamers, for the hardcore with the whole DRM situation was really bad on that end. But for the casual gamer that don't pay attention to that other shit, that price, that $100 price tag, and you couldn't explain it. You had to say to connect.
Connect,
that wasn't gonna work.
That $100 on that Connect was kind of
tough.
But the biggest thing is just so all of these systems have had this in common. I believe Sony was looking at their own mortality and they saw in the window, they was like, if we don't do this and we don't do it soon, the whole conversation about PS5 is going to be, I can't play with my friends on other systems like every other system lets me. And not saying that that was the number one goal in it, because I think Fortnite itself did have a big role in that, just because Epic went to them and they showed them those numbers. I mean, it's easy to see what you were making before August and what you were making after August, you know, just because of that one change. And yeah, Sony, I honestly believe Sony was going to stick to their guns. I didn't expect them to change their mind this early in the generation. Well, not this early because it's real late in the generation, but this early before the next generation started. I just thought they would hold on probably until later on, probably another year, and then they do it on their own tune. But the fact that they did it now lets me know that it got hit in the water a little bit harder than they thought. They were like, we need to make this change now because people really aren't talking about crossplay. And if they're not talking about it, but we're still losing money, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the PS5, they can literally ruin their own self, and Sony's the only one that can do that to themselves right now. Xbox can't change that fate. Nintendo can't change that fate. Only PlayStation can do that. And this is one way that they can tell their fans by saying, hey, we listen to you guys. We're for the gamers. And that's their whole slogan been along. And guess what? A lot of those people are going to forget that this even happened when next generation comes around, because it's going to be something that's going to be inherited across all platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great change for the whole community, like you guys kind of shared as well. I think, you know, it kind of shows that, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, we do have a power to change things as a whole, you know, because I saw a lot of Xbox guys riding for it more than I even saw some Sony guys, as far as like, you know, really being on Sony about, you know, not allowing, you know, that to happen. So I'm glad that they did, you know, for whatever reason, doesn't really matter at the end of the day, it's happening. One game for now, but we'll see how that expands later on. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Keep this show moving, man. Thanks once again, everybody who's joining us right now live. Appreciate you guys. Once again, the chat is live, so let us know how you guys are doing today in the chat. So next topic, man, we're gonna dive right into some Forza shit. I've been holding on to this. So Forza came out, if you didn't know, and it blew the fucking doors completely off what we thought a racer, or, you know, whatever you want to call it or describe it at this point, could possibly be as far as potential. And we were talking before the show started, guys, about, has there ever been a racer, I guess if you want to categorize it as something, a racer that's legitimately in the running for like a game of the year? And you know, could you legitimately look at a racer that way ever? Even with the Gran Turismo, even, you know, I don't know if you want to call Mario Kart a racer, some people do, but shit like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Fuzzy on this one, actually, because I know he's been in the fucking cave for the last week, guys. So I'm playing Forza. He's already discovered all of the roads, man. Like, ridiculous. So the whole 531, I think it is. But
who else would you start with, man? I mean, come on.
I know, right? Like I was gonna start with anybody else, but Fuzzy, man, let me know, man. What are your initial thoughts, man? Are you completely blown away?
I'm completely blown away, extremely happy with the way this turned out as far as the updates in comparison to Forza Horizon 3. They've taken a lot of the things that improved, or that was an improvement with Forza Motorsport 7 with some of the tuning and some of the adjustments. And there is the possibility to get more of a sim feel in Horizon, but you can make it a complete total arcade racer, and that's fun because with breakable environments now, except for buildings, of course, but the walls, the trees, a lot of them now. I mean, people used to get pissed off where the AI would bump you to miss like the checkpoint, and now if they get bumped out of the way and miss the checkpoint, they get reset. And I mean, not even getting into the beauty of how the game looks. I mean, graphically, they've improved on the HDR as far as the visuals. You don't have quite as much of the blowout on some of the like lighter tones that the sun reflects off of. You get new like sun flare type of effects off the car. Like if it has a metallic paint, or if somebody's put like a metallic custom paint on it, it shines like a metallic paint does. Like before, you had a little bit of sparkle, but depending on how cloudy it is or how bright it is, you can definitely see all of the reflection as what you would expect on a real car. I've been mainly playing the 4K mode. Haven't bothered with the 60 frames mode because just like with Horizon 3, the blurring that they do seems to give it that nice buttery smooth look, even with it being 30 frames. It's kind of the same thing with like Ghost Recon being 30 frames. They did a good job of keeping it consistent and smooth. the RPG elements of the cars. Before, people would probably just pick like 5 or 10 cars that they like and just race those the entire time. Now each car has its own like little like skill tree to go along with it. Now some of the skills will repeat amongst various cars in that same category, but you can fine tune what do you call them, a drifting car or a drag racing car, and make it so much easier to get, whether it's an advantage against AI or an advantage against other players on like the free roam and stuff like that. Having it where everybody's on like a live game and they get ghosted if they try to, troll you or something like that is awesome. You still have, you'll still for a while still flinch when you see them trying to ram you head on or something. But the fact that they've taken a lot of those things into account to make sure everybody has a pleasant experience when racing online against real folks. There's just so much stuff. Like Forza Horizon 3 was an awesome game. This just elevated it that much higher with all the extra abilities and different things. Like you can earn currency and influence or things that will help you get either more parts for your cars or more cars by just watching somebody stream on Mixer or taking photos, which a lot of people like to do screenshots. With the photo mode, you actually get experience or points in that now, as opposed to just completing like, oh, I have to photograph 300 or 400 cars. No, it helps you level up. There's just so much to it. I don't want to take up too much time because I know everybody else wants to chime in, but I'm above and beyond happy with the game. And yeah, I've discovered all the roads because this way now I can take all the shortcuts and not have to worry about anything. And then the next step is to get all the fast travel boards. But awesome game. I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time playing it for the next couple of months until at least until Red Dead comes out, and then it'll be divvy up the time between the two.
Nice, man. I think the biggest thing for me, actually, before I let anybody else go, would be the attention to detail that they continue on this. It's almost like I don't throw this word around lightly, but it's almost to a level now where I don't think any racer has ever merged what they've been able to merge into a complete package as far as the RPG elements, the open world elements, the arcade racer with, simulation racer elements, and kind of throw it in a mixing pot, like a big old gumbo pot, and it just come out just right. Like it just works. Like there's really no weakness that you can point to and say, well, graphically, they give you 2 different graphic modes, that you can choose from. They give you all these different tweaks and just so much content, so much attention to detail. I think it's amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to you, Cognito. What do you think? Have you played it? And what were you blown away as well?
All right. First off, full disclosure, I have not picked it up yet. Okay. And the reason is because I've been Mr. Cheap and I'm waiting on that game. That's what I was hoping on. But ultimately, like I said, I still lost Sav. He's got it. And I'm kind of regretting because I'm gonna have to pick it up. The thing is, and Forte knows, Destiny Forsaken is really just taking over my life. Yeah, that's the thing right now, and I couldn't justify picking up any other game right now until I get a lot of stuff done. But I've always been a Horizon fan. That's actually the racing series for me. No disrespect to Motorsport. That's like the hardcore, man's racing game. It's very simulation based, and I respected it. But Horizon always appealed to me. Horizon just had a little bit of the arcade aspect where I don't have to stay on path. I can go off road. I can do things my own way. I didn't feel I was restricted, and I felt it was a more social game. I felt like how inclusive it was. And then when I saw a lot of the new stuff at E3 which was announced, which was the season changes and all these cool things, I'm like, man, I already knew it was going to be a good game. Like the Forza Horizon series, in my opinion, is the superior series. That's just me. I think it's more accessible. So to me, this news is not surprising. Just to see what it's doing, to see the reviews, and graphically, man, it looks spectacular. I've been watching a lot of footage of it, seeing the screenshots, seeing my timeline go crazy. And it's definitely getting picked up. it's without question. It's definitely getting picked up. I just didn't want to do it initially, And plus I wanted to see when things shake out. But yeah, listen, I'm proud of those guys at Playground. They're doing a fantastic job. They look like they got more on their plate coming forward. So sky's the limit with them. They're a great studio, and Microsoft has them in tow. But yeah, man, this is no surprise to me. Forza Horizon has always been that series for me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Mega, man, what do you think, Mega?
Man, I mean, I can't top what Fuzzy said, so I mean, I'm not going to try that. Fuzzy broke it down. I mean, but yeah, no, it's Forza. I'm a big racing fan, and Forza, and to me, that there's kind of like been three godlike racing games for me, and one game racer that I always put up there, even though it's not on that level, but I love it. Ridge Racer is that side piece.
Let's go.
The music, Ridge Racer R-Type 4. It's one of the best classics for me. Just what it is. But the granddaddy of them all is Gran Turismo, and then there's Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit 2. I mean, I know a lot of people like the other Need for Speeds that came out on the beginning of the 360 PlayStation 3 era,
Most
Wanted series and all that. Those are great too. But the game, the races that just kind of takes my breath away. Those races, and then it comes to here we are with Forza Horizon, and I knew right when I played the very first Forza Horizon that this was going to be special, but I didn't know that it was going to be this special. Like, I mean, we're talking about the evolution of racing games that you can't really comprehend it unless you have been following racing games for as long as maybe we all have. And that to me is a testament to what Playground Games has done for Microsoft to keep sticking with this brand, even though a lot of people thought racers were was a dying genre. But to make this game look like it does, perform like it does, like you said, like the mud physics, the when you're going through the mud, the seasons, all of that in one package to go anywhere you want to. It's I can't. I mean, like I said, it's just insane to me. Like, it's so beautiful, yet it's so technical at the same time. It's bringing in RPG elements that I've never seen in a racing game before. It is so in depth, and like I said, I've only gotten maybe 10 hours in so far, maybe a little bit less because I didn't get a chance to really get into it like I want to this past weekend. But it's like, to me, it's worth every penny that I paid for this game, man. It's absolutely astonishing, and it should be a contender or a nominee at least for Game of the Year. In my opinion. I really do think so. I mean, it's that in depth. It's amazing. No racing game it's been like this that I've played in all my years.
Nice. Yeah, that says something too, because I know you're a big racing fan too as well. So you and Fuzzy sharing the same sentiment lets me know how high quality. I mean, I've seen the game. I did get a chance to play it a little bit, but not too much thereafter. But I know it's amazing either way. I've been watching a ton of footage as well. So Zalker, I know you've been waiting as well. So let me know, brother. Break it down.
Man. Yeah, I'm actually game passing the game because budgets and
let's go.
I got
that talk about. That's what I want to hear.
I'm a little bit of a cheap person, but hey, what are you gonna do? No, just I'm waiting for the Game Pass. But honestly, the thing I want to say about it is that Playground Games, it's a 92 right now. It's better. It's rated better currently than Forza 3, and that's Forza 3. I'm not a big racing fan. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not.
It's rated higher than Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I beat Spider-Man, and I'll be honest with you, man. I loved it. I loved it. Absolutely, I loved that game because I'm a huge comic fan. Right. But Forza 3 blew me away when I bought it. It was my first racing game I bought in probably I want to say 15 years. I'll be honest. And that game just I was stuck on it. I was like, man, this is really fun. And for them to top that, it just shows that they might be the best developer that Microsoft has under their Microsoft Studios umbrella. Like they the number one thing that if you guys keep up with sports or anything, the number one thing that makes a player great is consistency. And these guys have been consistent. They don't mess around. Like, this game looks and I've talked to people that have the game already, like Fuzzy does, and they just say it's freaking stunning. Like, they're just they can't stop playing it. They're like, man, this game just they'll stop and be like, dude, this game just looks amazing. Like, they don't know what to do. Like, they're just so shocked. But and I've heard the game has a lot of content, a crap over 450 cars, and they just throw cars at you. apparently. Like, you just keep getting cars, and like, they don't give you lack of content. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna basically mod out your car. You're gonna do whatever you want, and you get to play with your buddies. You know, open world, and the seasons changing. Like, man, like they really changed the way open world gaming is gonna be done with the seasons changed. Honestly, it's extremely innovative. It's really cool, and it shows how great of a developer they are. It just, I can't wait to jump into this. And then this is coming from something that's I'm extremely hyped for Odyssey. And this game, like, I want to get into this one first. Like, I'm just like, yo, I want to play this before Odyssey comes out, and I'm gonna go hard on it for 4 days, maybe even longer. But it's a huge win for Microsoft. We've had some we will all admit on this panel, we've had some exclusives that some people don't like. I loved Sea of Thieves, but I will say
too.
this
I'm right there with you.
In this Sea of or not Sea of Thieves, this 92 Metacritic was a win. It was a kind of like, hey, we still got it. And that's what they're doing. Yeah. That's what this game shows, is that Microsoft's not messing around. And once this game launched, I don't know if you guys saw, Playground Games put out 177 job openings for this, for their studio. Yeah. Just legit, man. Like, it's going to be really good. I can't wait to get into it.
Real fast, real quick, I just want to say this point. I said this earlier before we started, was that, for all the people, for the naysayers that says bad things about Xbox, they bring up Halo, Gears, and Forza. But hey, the lasting power of Forza Horizon has gained in popularity.
Yes.
That's something that's the testament of how good this racing title is, or this game, or these developers, because they elevated this game to the next level, to where even the naysayers has to pay their respects. Because at first it was like, it's trash. Now they say it's decent. That tells you right there what's going on.
The number one thing I hear is that it's just a racing game. And I'm just sitting there going, like, it's not just a racing game. They transcended this genre. Yes. They changed it and put every developer making a racing game on suspect. Like, you're on watch. Like, what are you going to do to top this developer? Yeah. Like, these guys have, 7 to 8 years experience making racing games, and now open world racing games. Like, what are you going to do to combat that?
Yeah.
And there's nothing else out there. 9 million copies sold for Forza Horizon 3, 22 million Forza players overall is what they announced. This isn't niche. It's not just a racing game. This stuff should be contender for Game of the Year. It just looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. So Forte, on you, brother.
Oh man. All right. So this game, I am a huge Forza fan. I love motorsport. I love Horizon. I have come to love Horizon more than motorsport at this point now. The thing about this game is I love it to death. It is everything I wanted in a Forza. They actually took Forza Horizon 3 and turned it up to 43. It's like ridiculous how much more that they added with this game and the polish they put into it. I've had it since Thursday, and the only problem I'm having is the fact, like Lord Cognito said, unfortunately, this game comes out at the wrong time for me because
Destiny.
So let's just give it a little bit of context. Horizon 3 launched during Taken King, which is by far the best DLC they had to date up at that point. Then then this one launches during freaking Forsaken. And it's like, I can't, okay, put it this way. Horizon is like the side chick that I love, that I can literally play because it's not a time commitment to the game. That's the one thing I love about Horizon. I can go in, I can spend as much time with it as I want. I can go and play anything that I want to do in the game, get anything, and I feel like I accomplished something in the game. That's the one thing that Horizon has over motorsport. You don't feel like you don't have to commit 100%.
Yeah, there you
go. Compared to Destiny, I have to commit. It's like a commitment. It's a marriage to this freaking game, and that's why That's why it's hard to play any other game. Like, I don't know what I'm actually going to buy this year. Now, I bought Horizon just because I know this game will always be there. I didn't beat Horizon 3 until like 9 or 10 months after the game came out, just because I was so invested in Destiny during that time. And this game is going to probably be the same thing. And the fact that they one-up themselves and made this game better really puts me in a situation where I feel like I want to play this game more, But unfortunately, it's just the fact that it comes out at the wrong time. If they flip this and bring this game out during the Forza 7, during Destiny 2, when it was like a big downtime and people hated the freaking game for a while, it would have been easy for me to pick it up. So people that love racing games, you're going to love this game. If there is no other game that you want to champion, this is the game for you. I play it on PC predominantly because I have the Thrustmaster wheel for it. I had the pedals for it. I have ultra wide monitors so I can enjoy it. It's freaking incredible. Running this game at 1440p at 144 frames per second, your eyes bleed as you're going down the street. It's freaking incredible. I did my first Forza-thon in it. It's amazing. It was awesome. And guess what? When I was done with it, I turned it off and jumped right back on Destiny. It didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was putting a time commitment into the game. And that's the one thing that I always love about the Forza Horizon games is I can pick it up, play as much as I want. Mm-hmm. And if I don't touch it for 2 weeks, it won't be mad at me and I won't forget what I was doing because the game is built for you to like say, hey, what's the next thing for me to do on the checklist? It's like a bucket list. That's what that game is. All it is a bunch of bucket lists that you can check off till you get to the end. And I love that game for it, but man, I wish I could play it. I wish I would have played it more. I only played it like 3 hours since it's been out.
Yeah, nice, man. I think we all feel the same way about Forza, man. I think they've really outdone themselves with this game, and I think it's really easy to see. Even if you don't own the game, just go watch somebody stream it, play it live. You'll clearly see the difference between that game and Forza 3. So let's go ahead and move on to the very last topic. Just want to give a big shout out to everybody watching this live. If you have not already, drop a like on the video, man. Helps the video be seen and the podcast be seen as well. So last topic, guys, then we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, let everybody get to the rest of their evening. So we're going to be talking PSX or the lack of a PSX this year. So it essentially Sony came out and said, or I think a executive of Sony actually came out and said, hey, PSX is actually not happening this year. So with the information that we already have about this XO event 2018, now PSX is not happening. What do you guys, was there an apparent reason for that? Is it just that I've seen some, both sides of the same coin, I guess you can say, where some people are saying, well, it doesn't make sense for them to do one anyway because they've already kind of shown everything they have. And I've seen other people saying, hey, they don't have anything going forward. So I want to get you guys' opinion. We're going to start with you once again, Cognito. What do you think about the whole no PSX news?
It's interesting because initially, to me, this is just kind of like following suit with the way they handled E3. And if you recall, when E3 was announced, they basically told you up front, we're just showing this, like these 4 games. This is what's going to be. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. I forget the other 2 off top right now. But they pretty much gave away what the game plan is, which is kind of unusual for them because they usually kind of pride themselves in surprises, theatrics. That's one thing you have to give Sony credit. They're very good at putting on a show when presenting their titles. So it was kind of like a punch in the gut. Like, damn, you kind of already telling us what it's going to be. You're just going to focus on that. Now here comes the PSX news, and they're saying, hey, we're not doing it at all. So, this kind of feeds those rumors of like, well, are they really gearing up now for 2019?
Yeah, that's another thing.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, most of us have assumed on the panel that a lot of people I see in the Twitter streets, it's like, 2020 is supposedly the year when both consoles comes out. Yeah. But Sony now with these 2 moves have kind of hinted that, we're coming towards the end of the generation, and they have outright said they're working on the next, piece of hardware. The issue comes down to when it was released. The only funny thing I want to say, PGK, on this is that remember last year at PSX, they had Greg Miller on, and he was like, yeah, so we're going to get the name changes, right? And he's like, yeah, by next year. Said Layton's like, yeah, by next year we got that. I think it's funny that them not having it at all. And it gets them away from having
that's pretty hilarious.
He said, I have an answer for you by next PSX. There's no PSX.
We can answer that if there's no PSX.
Yeah, it's like Randall Thor put that in his video, bro. It's hilarious.
It's funny.
Now he gets to now he doesn't have to send him that email.
Plausible deniability.
Now he doesn't have to send that he doesn't have to send that press pass out for E3 next year. He'll forget that one. Like, oh, we forgot Greg. Oh shit.
Exactly.
Oh man, we forgot to send. Oh my bad, Greg.
Can't promise a game change announcement if there ain't no damn show to do it on. So, but at the end of the day, all jokes aside, I mean, I think I was of the camp coming in that Sony would probably announce their new system for 2020. But I have to admit, my eyebrows is raising. My eyebrows raising a little bit. And I'm curious now because this is the second big event, that this is their stage. They control the narrative, and they're basically saying we don't have anything to show right now. So to me, maybe the focus is somewhere else. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And I will say this, as far as the Xbox side, in comparison to this, we know obviously XO's there. They're gonna have some big announcements. But one thing is clear. If there is if Sony is prepping for 2019, if that is the case, if these rumors are true, Xbox, in my opinion, cannot allow them to come out first. They have to drop at the same time. So I think it's a game of chess as far as that release date, because we know one thing: Microsoft's not going to allow the power narrative to ever go against them.
Yeah, they're not doing that again.
Yeah, X has shown they're very committed to that. They will.
And that was a 2.5 year turnaround too. That X was crazy.
Tremendous piece of hardware. So they have shown they're never losing that narrative again. So to me, this is a very elaborate game of chess. If Sony does drop 2019, I expect Microsoft to be right there with them. I do not expect them to not drop, let these guys have the actual next gen system before them. So this is interesting. I'm very curious to see how this thing plays out.
Okay. All right, cool. No. So go ahead. I know Zucker. I feel like you had something to say. Go ahead, Zucker.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, no, go ahead. As for the experience, the PlayStation experience, I almost kind of respect Sony that they're doing that, because they said, we don't want to set expectations high and let our fans down, kind of like they did last year. People hated that that PlayStation experience, and they thought it was trash, and even PlayStation fans couldn't even damage control it. And that's just a fact. So they didn't want to have that on repeat, and so they kind of like pushed away from it. But it does put Xbox, to me, like it gives them, like for the new XO event, it gives them a chance to really shine, right? But I just think that Sony doesn't have anything to show, and I don't think they're bringing out 2019 PS5. I really, because they said they're going to hunker down for the next. They said, this is Sony saying this. They're hunkering down for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. So that to me means they're getting ready for next gen, but I don't think it's coming till 2020 or 2021. Mm-hmm. I think that Xbox is going to have the power crown probably forever. To be honest, I don't think they're ever going to lose that again. But also, it also doesn't matter, because Xbox has talked about forward and backward compatibility. Yeah. So that it doesn't matter if we're never going to get a console race again like we did in 2013, because it's going to have forward and backward compatibility. It's just going to be there for us forever. And the devs want that, because they don't want to make a game on a 2 to 3 million, user base in the first year. They want it to be, cross-platform, cross-gen, cross-whatever, because they want to sell the most amount of copies. So that's why I think they're not coming to PSX. I think they're saving some stuff for just E3, because I think if they show stuff at PSX, their E3 showing it, like they're going to walk out on stage, show you Death Stranding with a mailman and a dog, and then they're going to walk off in like 5 minutes, because they're not going to have anything else to show you, because they showed it at PSX. And that's kind of what hindered them, right? They showed Last of Us. They showed a bunch of stuff at PSX. And then they showed the same thing at E3. And people were like, oh, cool, clap, whatever. And that's it. So and they haven't, you don't hear Sony investing in a lot of stuff right now, right? You don't hear them hiring 600 developers. You hear this all from Xbox. Xbox has something to show, because they're not resting on their laurels. They're moving forward and trying to work next generation. And that's you could just tell to read the tea leaves, people, Yeah.
No, good point. No, that's a very good point. I think that PS5 and when's the start of this next generation, that is very, very interesting to this whole no PSX thing. And a lot of people are, feel the same way as far as them just gearing up for really PS5, and there's really no point. At this point in this generation, I don't think the narrative is ever really going to change that much. I mean, Xbox can do a ton of different things. They can gain a lot of momentum going forward. with this event, with this XO event. So Mega, man, what do you think when you heard the news about the no PSX, man? What was your first thought?
Well, I apologize for being messy, but I knew this. I mean, to me, it just sounded just like exactly what everybody else was saying. It's just that Sony is, well, I'm a PlayStation fan. I mean, fan and owner as well. But that the sparse moment is coming back. If you've ever paid attention to Sony's track record of how they get ready to wind down the next generation, they tend to kind of they came strong at the end of last gen, and I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with one of these big hitters before the PlayStation 5 comes out. But everything else is predicated to get ready for the PlayStation 5. So therefore, you're going to have to go through a sparse moment, just like you did with the PlayStation 4. It's just that simple. Now, the difference in this is that if backwards capability is going to be a part of the PlayStation 5, then that's going to be a definite game changer for them and for the PlayStation brethren. But if they don't and still sticks to their guns with the whole single player aspect, we want our infrastructure to be stuck like this and keep it old school. That's going to be fine to a lot of gamers at first, but once people start seeing the benefits of backwards capability and games as service like Game Pass, things like that, you see how they made the change with PS Now. It's kind of like that they don't want to seem like copycats, but they have done copycat tactics before. So it's like to me is that this with PSX is just a showing, because they have been getting away with showing the same shit for the last 3 years. They have. The one difference is that they have been coming out with games that's been getting a lot of critically acclaimed, and those games have been good. They fit the bill. They've came hard with
the
great
quality.
The
quality has been there.
Yeah, it's quality has been there, so the gamers can wait. Not so much with Xbox gamers because of the fact that people are on their throat about Sea of Thieves or State of Decay and all of this and all that. But again, if you just look at their pattern, it's what's going to happen. I mean, it's right there in your face. And like when we were at E3, Sony's floor was small. I mean, compared to Nintendo's and everybody else's, it was very small, and it wasn't like them. And then you seen E3, you got more people you had more time with the guy with the guitar. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you don't need a lot of room for a guy with a flute, man. I mean, you got
just savage.
So I'm just being honest. Let me say. So the fact of it was is that look, they can't keep getting away of just showing the same stuff by showing. You can show Days Gone because there's people that's interested in that, but and Death Stranding because there's a fan base for that. But do you really want to? What else do you have to show? Do you want to show another trailer for a game that's not going to be coming out for the PlayStation 4 right away, which is Ghost of Tsushima, or and you know what I'm saying? What's Call It could be coming out, but I don't know. That game looks really good. It looks like to me it's a PlayStation 5. The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying? So again, but they're still going to be showing the same stuff. And that to me is they showed one game at TGS, which where the game was still in development, where the guy was getting chased by this dragon. That game looked fire.
Yeah, the
graphics looked insane. That looked like PlayStation 5 to me. So I think that they are going to bring out the PlayStation 5 earlier than I anticipated, because I did say 2021. I think that the ball is rolling for them to bring it out, because that's why they canceled the show, because they want to have a slam dunk E3 by announcing the PlayStation 5, if not at the end of that year, but the year after 2020.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning with some kind of information or maybe a hint at E3. Some kind of information, and then maybe a reveal later on that year at like PSS next year. Like,
and they're also really smart, because let's say XO hits it out the park and PSX is a dud. That is not going to be a good look coming to an E3 when Xbox has got the momentum. You see what I'm saying? So it is imperative that Xbox really come with it in order to get that momentum to go into next year, to get into E3, and for whatever that they're going to be addressing, it's going to bring the hype on top of the games that's going to be coming out with Crackdown and etc.
Absolutely. And the one thing before I get to you, Fuzzy, and we're going to end it on Forte. One thing I do want to say is that you see the two different strategies as far as the companies. Xbox has been super aggressive about what they're doing, about the studio acquisitions, about their roadmap. And that's one thing at the beginning of the generation that we were, as fans of Xbox, we were all unclear, and they did a terrible job at like a clear roadmap as far as what the future's going to look like. As far as Sony, there is a little bit of, it's a little vague, on the side of things. Besides, we know that console is coming sooner or later. I think 2020, I think 2019 we'll get some kind of reveal. 2020 we'll get an actual release. I think that's just the timetable, and it works perfectly for them. It's not too much, not too little time in between the PlayStation 5. They've pretty much locked up the gen as far as overall like sales and numbers, if you care about that. So there's really not much else for them to do at that point. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. Fuzzy, what do you think? I mean, when you heard about they made that announcement about no PSX.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird, but I mean, not to throw shade at Sony, but it's kind of like we've already seen a lot of the games that are going to be released over the next few years, so it's not really going to be that much to show unless they bring back. I think one of them was like Hong Kong Massacre or something like that. It was like a top-down shooter that I'm kind of looking forward to, just like I am for like the last night on Xbox. But I was kind of under the impression that a PS5 might be announced at the next one, and with them like not having the PSX, I'm under the impression they're not as close as I thought they would be on the PS5. Looks like a lot of people were right with like a 2021 timeline. I kind of figured they would try to undercut and do like a 2019, maybe not holiday 2019. Well, announce it holiday 2019 and then have it ready either just before the end of the year or like by like March or April of 2020. But yeah, it works out for Xbox at this point. But I don't know. It's kind of weird, although I never trust Sony not to have something up their sleeve. When the XO18 happens, Sony will make some other groundbreaking announcement to kind of take some of the win from the sales of Xbox. I don't know if they'll have strong enough news to do it, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try. So we'll see what they have come November 10th as far as breaking news, whether it be name change or I don't know, maybe a hint that the PS5 will be backwards compatible, and then that will kind of lock down a lot of PlayStation fans to stay in that ecosystem or something. But we'll see.
Okay,
they have to do that. They have to do that, man. They have to have that in there.
So I want to, before we go to Forte and end the show, I know we're running a little over here, the quota, but either way, I want to just throw something out there as well. Where do you guys think this whole Scarlet fits in for Xbox and the release dates for these new systems as far as this whole streaming box? And what's you guys' opinion on that real quick before we end things on Get Forte?
I think they got to hit market first, man. I still think they cannot allow these guys to come out. And if this is an option, and listen, I mean, we've had some Xbox guys on the show and at the round table, and the vibe we're getting, they are extremely confident about this cloud streaming platform option. And whatever they have inside on the hardware side, that's gonna try to alleviate latency. And again, it's just an option. So for people who want their dedicated console, they're gonna get it. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that they are going to definitely try to come to market first. I'm still of the mindset. I'm with you guys. I'm of the mindset 2020 is probably the year. I am concerned though with Sony being mum for now 2 shows in a row, what they are actually planning. I still think they are scheming up something. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about them is they're very good at trying to take the narrative away from Microsoft, and Microsoft does have a shining moment. I mean, look at this week in particular. This is the celebration of Horizon. Horizon is a fantastic gem that's in a feather in the cap, and all of a sudden now Sony announces the crossplay thing. You know what I'm saying? So they're very crafty. They're very shrewd.
Last week it was the Spider-Man number.
Exactly. So I don't want to underestimate what they're doing. But make no mistake, Scarlet is definitely coming, and they're not going to allow the power narrative and to have this option that is very unique. Because one thing, with their software engineers with backward compatibility and all that stuff, as well as, Mixer with the latency and stuff like that. If anybody's going to provide an option that is going to be kind of seamless on that end, it would be Microsoft. So if it's going to be a good thing to shape out this whole next generation.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So Forte, it's on you, man, to end the show, brother. Close us out, G.
All right. So my thoughts on this is, if I had to, okay, let me do a little math on this. Sony owns 11 first-party studios outright, not counting the 3 big ones that they're getting development from with Exambiac and Kojima Productions and Quantic Dreams, which both released games this year, with the exception of the Kojima game, which isn't coming out till later. So you want to think that it takes 4 to 5 years to make a game over the course of a generation. That means one studio could probably get out 1 to maybe 2 games a generation, depending on when they release as a launch title and games that come out towards the end. You're seeing that with Naughty Dog. They released Uncharted 4 early, and it looks like Last of Us 2 might be something that's going to be the swan song for the PS4, which is also more than likely going to be on the PS5 too. So being a fact that I know a little bit about Sony's inner workings for business, because I work at retail and we get a chance to see all of their stuff when it comes out early. The fact that I didn't see anything at our last meeting past February of next year, which is days gone, lets me know that they're not focusing on anything right now other than the stuff that's coming out up until that point. Because normally at these meetings, we see the whole picture up until E3 next year.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what's we don't know when they're coming, but they at least show it. They say, "Hey, this is in the window of this expectation that's coming out before summer." And we'll see it, but we didn't see anything. We didn't see Ghost of Tsushima. We didn't see Death Stranding. We didn't see nothing from Last of Us. That lets me know that none of that stuff is coming before next year, because we will get some type of inkling of it before then. So that lets me know that by February, I'll put it like this: if we don't see an announcement of a PS5 by April, it's not coming in 2019.
Right.
Because they did the same thing with PS4. They announced it in February. They talked about it in E3, and they announced it Xbox and PlayStation announced at the end of that year. Yeah. So I say April of next year. If you see it, that's when you know you're going to get it at the end of 2019. I don't think there's nothing Microsoft can do if they release in 2019. I just think it's too. I mean, as much as I would love for that to happen, and I would love for Microsoft to pull a rabbit out of their hat to bring out that system, because I do agree with you, Kainito. They can't come out second.
Right.
We all saw the benefit of Xbox having a 1-year lead, and even with a 1-year lead, they still gave up the number to Sony at the very end. So it was just the fact that Microsoft did what they needed to do to get out first.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that is what everybody's hoping to do, to have a more competitive race going forward. But then I also agree with Zalker. I don't think the race really matters to Microsoft anymore, because Microsoft is about forward and backwards. I don't know if they're going to count systems the way that they counted them before. Anyways,
they care about software, and
they care.
And Microsoft is basically kind of like the U.S. military. They want to kill you with a whole bunch of shit, not just with one big blast. They want to hit you with all types of things from everywhere. That's why Microsoft is circling the wagons. They buying the Havoc engine. They're buying Steam. Streaming. All of these other entities out there that a lot of gamers aren't really paying attention to where even if Sony does do something, they still will benefit some way, shape, or other. It's all about the money, and it's about the software with them right now.
And the last thing to finish it out is, even if Microsoft does come out second, it's not the end of the world, because yes, PlayStation 4 is at 90 million. And when people see that 90 million, they think, wow, that's 90 million people that have the opportunity to go get a PS5. But that 90 million didn't happen overnight. That 90 million happened over 7 years. So even if Microsoft, I mean, granted, the people that, you know, just like Xbox, when Xbox One X came out, all the hardcore people went out and bought one. You know, that's going to happen regardless with the PS4. If they launch at the same time, there's going to be people that's just going to buy a PS5. If Microsoft decides to bring their system out in 2020, then what really is going to happen is, what is the compelling game that's going to draw people to want to buy that system and leave their PS4? Because at that point, you're not talking about, oh, stop them from getting a PS5. What's going to make you want to leave your PS4? Because I know people that took 4-5 years just to leave their PS3, which I thought was incredibly crazy.
Right.
Why would you still be on that system 4 or 5 years later, even a 360? Some people, they still walk into the store, trading in Xbox 360s, trading in PS3s to get these new systems. What are they going to show that's going to make you want them day one?
That's one more thing. I'm sorry. I just want to say this. The benefit for what Xbox that has in this time around, in my opinion, is the fact that they have different SKUs. They have a whole bunch of options for gamers out there.
Right.
For the people that wants to go out and they wait until something gets become affordable, you have the S. The one thing about the X is that I've been saying this a long time, it's future proof, because even though the X will not be as powerful as the 5 or the Scarlet, but it's going to look damn near close. And the fact of it is that when people see those games performing off the X, that price drops down, it's going to fly off the shelves. That's why I say it's having that Xbox Windows 10 ecosystem flowing with services and games going on the PC and everything. They're trying to conquer everywhere and not just stay focused on one spot.
I want to jump in real quick too. I know we're going long, but this is a good one.
Oh, you good.
Yeah, man. Listen, the reason why I say, and I'm doubling down on they have to drop at the same time. You're making fantastic points, Forte. Like, as far as, you know, compelling lineup, as far as our inklings of what Sony might do. But the reason why I still think they will kind of launch it around the same time is because one thing Xbox learned is at the start of the generation, when PS4 came out, what was the narrative that buried them early? It was 1080p. DRM was first, right? DRM was first, but then it ultimately became 1080p versus 900p.
Yeah,
right. That was free marketing for Sony, right? You've seen all the media outlets when it came to the comparative thing, you know, technical spec.
That's how Digital Foundry got their claim to fame.
You see where I'm going now. Now, we just had Linneman on from Digital Foundry. And the thing comes down to, okay, I thought one of the most genius moves by Microsoft was to allow exclusive access to Linneman and Ledbetter from Digital Foundry of the Xbox One X. Because one thing, if you bring your platform to them, they're going to break it down. They're going to break down the flaws, the pluses, the minuses. So that, to me, showed extreme confidence. And to get to that outlet shows that Microsoft understands that's the pulse of the generation. As much as people want to say, you know, fanboyism, people are checking Digital Foundry to see whose version runs better. Let's keep it a buck, right? Everyone's on there. Oh, how's the frame rate? Who's got the frame pacing? Who's doing checkerboarding? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're there for. That's what this generation is now has evolved into.
Right.
I cannot allow them to see a PS5 drop that will be now superior to the Xbox One X, right? And they have to go through that whole cycle at the start of the generation, what they went through. Now, are they prepared? That's a good point, Taylor. Do they have the compelling software at launch? We have to see. These studios were just recently announced and so forth. So we have to see how that plays out. Who's next up to bat? Does Halo Infinite now become, the Xbox 2 launch title? You see what I'm saying? So I think another thing I want to say is that I don't think we're giving Microsoft enough credit as far as having game plans to adjust. I've heard from very good sources there are different steps. They've already been working on. These guys go to the same hardware manufacturers. They kind of know inklings of what the other one may be planning. See what I'm saying? So just don't underestimate Microsoft's shrewdness based on what they learned by kind of losing the start of this generation. That's what I was saying.
No, good point. Great point, everybody. Great show, everybody, as well, man. This was a very, very great show. I know we ran a little bit over the quota, guys, but we had way too much fun. So before I wrap everything up, just want to say thank you everybody in the chat for coming out, watching, showing support. Once again, you guys, we do this every Saturday, and the show gets better and better as the weeks go by. Just due to you guys' continued support. So thank you guys so much. What's up, Predator? What's up, man? What's up, man? How you doing, brother? But anyway, let's go ahead and get everybody here on the panel a shout out. We're going to start with you, Cognito, man. Just want to say before you start talking, appreciate you, brother. It's been a fantastic time having you on, man. Been meaning to reach out to you for a minute. Glad I did, man. So just, yeah, man, just go ahead and give everybody a shout out. Everybody
no doubt. Yo, first of all, salute to the Shop podcast, man. It's my first time rocking with y'all. The panel was lit. All of y'all, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mega, you already know we go back. You know what I'm saying? But Forte as well, Zorka, Fuzzy, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to y'all. This was really, really fun. I really enjoyed myself. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here. As you already know, every Sunday is the Lord's Day. Tomorrow we got a big one, man. We're gonna have a boy Rick Hogue from Hogue Law, and he deals primarily a lot with the legal side, the litigation side of gaming, contractual stuff, intellectual property. We're gonna dive down with him on that, as well as what's going on, obviously, with Telltale and some stuff like that. So please check it out. Football season, so the Lord's Day is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? Check us out. And obviously on the Iron Law Podcast YouTube, we still have my boy Kings doing Combat Talk with the Kings. So if you like sports, you like boxing, check them out. And for the Destiny Hardcore, we do a show called Flashpoint. That is also on the Iron Law Podcast YouTube, my boy Ebontis. And we just really, if you're a hardcore Destiny guy, or if you're even on the fence about Destiny, you know, Forsaken might be the one for you. This might be the thing to get you back. And as Forte knows, you know, it's been hard to play anything else. When Destiny's good, it's hard to play anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, yo, shout out to the panel. This was a lot of fun. We definitely got to do it again. I got to get all you guys on the show. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? We can get you in the realm of the Lords. And man, appreciate what you're doing, man. This is real high quality stuff. I enjoyed this.
Appreciate it, man. Let's go ahead and bounce over to you, Mega. Now Mega's been here before, guys, and just want to say thank you again for just spending a little bit of time with us this evening, man. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at, Mega.
Oh yeah, man. Again, invite me anytime, man. I like I said, it was well, I didn't say it, but you know, Laura did. You know what I'm saying? My boy Cognito said it. This was a blast. This was cool, no yelling, no tripping, none of that crazy shit. It was just so good talking about games. And so it just reminds me of being with my brothers at the next podcast, X.84 channel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Shout out Xbox. That's my guy.
Yeah. X.448. That's my brother. That's my brother, man. Yeah. And then everybody out there, you know what I'm saying, Fred and we call him Doc Artemis, the Don. You know, yeah. And then Mel and everybody else that's over there, man. It's real cool. But also the GRG podcast every Friday night. That's on my channel, on K-Mega45's channel, of course, and we have a lot of fun, man. It's the late night. It comes on every Friday night, 8:30 Central, and we have fun, man. We all about having fun. We laugh and joke. So you know, have an adult beverage. If you're a kid, bring your milk. You know what I'm saying? But we have a good time, man. It's all in fun. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And and also BGST, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people have their reserves about my brother Z and everybody else out there on the panel, Crap and you know what I'm saying, Showstoppers back. That's awesome. And
yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah, Nuggles and all them, man. It's all good. So it's all good. And then of course I got to give a big shout out to my boy 100 and the crew, Intro Media Gaming, Lady Infamous, you know what I'm saying, and everybody out there. Triple Cup Chuck, you know what I'm saying? All of us, man, we appreciate it. You know, come check all of us out, man. And thank you, because we definitely got to link up everybody, every last one of us. Y'all come on to GRG Uncut sometime, and y'all have a podcast or something, Fuzzy, you know what I'm saying? I can't pronounce your name. I'm gonna just say Z. But y'all know I appreciate it, man. This was really fun. It was adult oriented, and that's all we asked for, man. Just to talk about games and nobody tripping about it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for spending some time with us, man. We definitely gonna. You guys, I got an open door policy. Once you come on here once, you never know when you're liable to get another DM from me after that point. So you guys have been amazing. Thank you guys for coming on. So we're gonna move on to some of the usual suspects as well. Go ahead, Fuzzy, give yourself a shout out. Let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzzy.
You can find me on Twitter Xbox Live or PSN, Fuzzy_Belvedere. It's an awesome panel today with the regulars as well as with K Mega and Lord Cognito. So awesome talking games with you guys. Just really, really awesome talking with you guys about games. Can't say it enough.
For sure. And then you, Forte, man, go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Forte. My guy, man. I appreciate you so much.
No problem, man. First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody that stopped by. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Definitely have fun on the shop. Mega, nice being in here with you for the first time.
Yeah,
Cognito,
pleasure, brother.
Yeah, Cognito, second time with you, man. We got to jump on this. We got to stop. We got to take this show on the road, man.
Facts. That has to go down.
But outside of that, guys, you can get me at Gaming Forte on YouTube and Gaming_Forte on Twitter, and pretty much No Life in Destiny for the next 3 months at least.
You already know.
Crazy. So yeah, appreciate you too, Forte as well, man. One of the guys I met through a couple other YouTubers, a couple other Twitter guys. We've become pretty good friends, man. We got to get down on some gaming. I know we were in the party the other day. We didn't get to finish, so we'll finish up on that another day. But Zalker, man, shout out to Zalker, man. He's Zalker's my guy, man. I love the fact that I met him through another guy as well, and he's been amazing, man. In addition to the podcast, so give yourself a shout out, Zalker, man. Definitely up and coming, man.
Man, thanks, man. Thanks for the nice shout out. Yeah, man. You guys can find me at Zalker87 on YouTube and then Shocked87 on Twitter. Yeah, I love making content, love talking games. Everybody on the panel, very respectful, very awesome. You know, we just, respect gaming. We respect the industry. And honestly, we're very grateful for everybody in the chat with us. And, I got to give a shout out to Fuzzy. I think, Fuzzy, hey, man, I know Forza's out, but, take a shower. Walk outside, outside, it's okay, bro. Like, we all love you here, man. Just take it easy. You're gonna be done with the game by the time I get it on Game Pass. Like, damn. So, yeah, everybody, have a good night, man. It's an awesome night.
Appreciate it. And last but not least, your boy PTK Blam, the host with the most, man. A friendly neighborhood gamer. Appreciate every single one of you guys here on the panel. Everybody for coming out watching us live. If you missed the show live, don't worry. I always throw the link up on Twitter right after, guys. Follow me, PTK Blam, across the board. Twitter, on his YouTube, as well as Xbox Live. Hit me up there. I'm probably going to be playing tonight as well. So if you guys enjoy video games, thank you guys for watching the podcast, man. We do it every Saturday. So join us again next week for another lit-ass show. We'll have a new set of guests on, some of the same usual suspects here as well. So peace out. Thank you guys for rocking out with us this Saturday. Everybody take it easy. We're out of here, man.
Good night, everybody.